Hello, Taylor Elwood here, and welcome to the Quest for the Sacred Masculine. In today's video, I want to explore a question that I think is an interesting one to ask around whether or not you can love someone else too much. I've been reading a book called The Passion Trap, and I just finished reading it, and I'm reading another book now along the similar lines. And in The Passion Trap, the theme of the book is it explores like how to write an unbalanced relationship. And the author talks about the concept of having a one up and a one down. And a one up is someone who isn't as into the relationship. They've kind of removed themselves a bit, they're at a distance. And the one down is the person who is like feeling really super romantic and in love and everything else. And they're trying to get to the one up, but the one up pulls away. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been both the one up and the one down in different situations. And I think it's really an important and relevant topic to look at in regards to relationships, because a lot of times people, I'm not just talking about men, I'm not just talking about women, I'm not talking about other identified genders, I'm talking just people, period. We have a tendency to, we want to be in relationship with other people. We want to feel a sense of love and connection. And what I find interesting is that in the last year or so, I've been doing a lot of work around self-love. And because I've been doing a lot of work around self-love, my relationship with love in general has been changing. I've been gradually evolving out of what I would call a form of codependent love. Because I've definitely been that needy, clingy guy, and sometimes I still am, and it's not easy to always be that person, but I know that I have to recognize it, because it's not an attractive thing, and it's not who I want to be. As I've been evolving my whole approach to love, what I've recognized is that it is indeed possible to love someone else too much, and in relationship to not loving yourself enough. I think that the way romantic love is described a lot of times is as a panacea. Like, you find that one person, and somehow that person's supposed to fill in the gap within your life, fill in the emptiness. We see this in a lot of romance movies and novels. And what none of those books and novels or anything else really tell you is that the reality of relationship is that nobody else can fill in the gap within you but yourself. Now, somebody else may love you, they might believe in you, they may support you, they may give you they may be absolutely head over heels for you. But at the end of the day, you still have to love yourself. And no matter how much that other person loves you, it's not going to fill in the gap within you, and it's not going to fill in the gap within them. So it's really important to recognize that, because we sometimes get into this trap of trying to give our all to somebody else. And it's not a comment on the other person, and it's not a comment on us. It's a no fault. There's a no fault pattern here, right? Because a lot of times we have reasons for it. Like, if I go and if I were to get all psychological and look at myself, I can definitely point to where in my past where my own need for love from another person and validation from another person came from. It doesn't really matter at this point, other than the fact that it's something that I've come to recognize I no longer want to motivate me, because I realize that it puts me at a distinct disadvantage in my relationships, both with myself and with other people. I was thinking about this last night, like how in the past I have wanted acceptance. I've wanted to be liked. I've wanted to somehow feel like I don't know, like, and in a way, I don't know that that's even it's a love of sorts, but it's not exactly unselfish love. It's selfish love in a way. It's like, well, if if this person if this person that I'm in love with loves me, then somehow I'm a worthy person. But the truth of the matter is, what makes you worthy is not someone else. It's you. This is a lesson I've been learning in the last year. And it's it's interesting that as my self-confidence has gone up, and as my self-esteem and self-respect has gone up, and in the way that I've loved myself has changed, it's it's caused me to start valuing different aspects of myself in a different way than I used to. And I'm still catching myself. I want to be very clear. Like, I'm still very much on a journey. Maybe I'll always be on this journey, probably, and that's okay. But I think that for any of us out there who are on this journey, that it's really important to recognize that, it's okay to acknowledge and know that yes, there is a part of you that wants to feel a certain way, that wants to feel valued and recognized and appreciated. And that it's equally okay to say and acknowledge, I don't have to get that from someone else. I can get it from myself. I can choose to love myself and value myself, and I can choose to receive what someone can give with gratitude and awareness, mm, but not chase after it. Because the more I chase after it, the more I may actually end up driving that person away. When we when we chase after what we want, sometimes we get it, but a lot of times it also slips through our fingers. Imagine, if you will, you're trying to take a drink of water and you put your hand out. If you cup your hand like this and receive it, you'll get the water. But if you were to not cup it, the water will just flow through and you might get a few drops. Another way I liken it might be the metaphor of the feast. You can have the feast, or you can get crumbs. Crumbs, you know, not a lot of fun. The feast is a rich, meaningful experience. It's valuable. It's wonderful. It's an experience that you think, wow, like this is awesome. I want to have the feast. If you want to have the feast, you have to be willing to accept that you may be getting some crumbs sometimes, and that there's lessons in those crumbs. The lesson for the feast is that you receive the feast. You don't get the feast all at once. You can't eat everything all at once. You can only eat one meal, one course at a time. So savor and appreciate each course, or if you will, savor and appreciate each day in the way that each day shows up, and the people that show up in your life each day. Don't try to get more. Try to experience and appreciate what you get. This is a hard learned lesson that I'm still learning in some ways. And I'm really sitting with it from a different perspective as a result of reading that book, and also as a result of some conversations that I've had where I'm starting to really see, well, here's where my approach to love has come from, but this no longer really works, and it never really worked, but it's what I knew. And that's okay. Like there's a realm of self-forgiveness that we also have to apply here when we see, okay, and compassion. Yes, I felt a certain way. Yes, I loved too much perhaps, but I didn't know any better at the time. But once you do know better, that's when you can change your approach. And you can change your approach by being kind and gentle to yourself, but also like and reinforcing the love that you feel for yourself. Well, take that in. Honor and acknowledge yourself. Honor and acknowledge who you are, and love yourself. And that can help you find balance in the relationship. So that instead of being like this, and like you being the one down or the one up, and like trying to, you find balance. You find an even keel. Maybe it teeter totters a little bit, but overall, it's steady. It's strong. It's consistent, and it creates the baseline by which you have successful relationships in general. So the next time you find yourself in a situation, and and let me be clear, this doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. This applies to any kind of relationship where you feel love for somebody else. I mean, you can love a friend too much, right? The next time you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're the one who's always striving to get to the other person, take a step back. Ask yourself what's really going on. What am I missing? What am I trying to get from this other person that maybe I need to pivot and focus in on myself? Give that person some space. Give yourself some space. Be with where you are at and love yourself and accept yourself. And you may find that you actually get more of what you want by learning to appreciate what you receive instead of just trying to get. All right, that's this week's thoughts on in this case in regards to relationships. I hope you find it helpful, and good luck out there.